You're standing in your garden at sunrise, coffee in hand, and there they are again. Horn, chewed through your leaves, aphids covering the underside of your plants, bugs moving in like they own the place, and you've already sprayed 3 times this month. Different products, different solutions, same result. But what if I told you that 2 of the cheapest metals on Earth could end this permanently? No spraying, no reapplying, no rotating chemicals because pests keep adapting. Just a one-time setup that keeps working for years. Tootie didn't believe it either until I saw it in a garden that had 0 pest damage. Amish families have been using this exact method since the 1800s, passed down from generation to generation. No chemicals, no modern solutions. And yet, their gardens look like paintings. Perfect leaves, healthy plants, consistent harvests, while the rest of us are losing half of what we grow. Let's start with the first metal, copper. Most crawling insects will not cross it, not because it blocks them physically, but because of what happens when they touch it. Their bodies carry a tiny electrical charge, and when they come into contact with copper in moist soil, it creates a subtle galvanic reaction. To us, it's nothing. To them, it feels like a shock. Slugs react instantly, ants avoid it completely. Beetles turn away, and studies have shown reductions of up to 96% in pest activity. Now, here's the part most people miss. Copper doesn't wear out. It doesn't wash away. It doesn't lose effectiveness over time. Once it's in the soil, it keeps working. I watched a farmer place thin copper strips around his plants. No sprays, no treatments. His crops were untouched. Not less damaged, completely untouched. And those same copper strips had been in the ground for nearly 20 years. But copper only solves half the problem, because it stops what crawls, not what flies. That's where the second metal comes in, zinc. When copper and zinc are both present in moist soil, they form a weak natural electrical circuit. The soil becomes the conductor, and this creates something you can't see. But insects can feel, a subtle field that repels flying. Insects disrupts egg-laying behavior, reduces infestation before it even starts. This isn't theory. Soil studies have shown higher microbial activity and significantly lower pest pressure in these conditions. Here's exactly how to set it up. First, the copper. Get copper flashing, used in roofing, cut it into narrow strips. Insert them vertically into the soil around your garden bed. Leave just a small edge visible above the surface. Now the zinc, take galvanized nails. They contain zinc. Hammer them into wooden stakes, cages, or support. Space them evenly throughout your garden. That's it. No digging up your garden. No rebuilding anything. Total cost, under 25 setup time, less than an hour. Here's what typically happens. Week 1, you don't notice much. Week 2, slugs and crawling pests drop sharply. Week 4. Urdu, center and tornid ravend. Populations collapse. Week 6. Flying. Insects start avoiding your garden, and by the end of the season, you'll wonder how you ever gardened without it. But here's the part that changes everything. Copper and zinc don't just repel insects. They change the plants themselves. Both metals are essential micronutrients. In tiny amounts, they strengthen plant cell walls, improve root development support, natural defense systems, and this leads to something most people don't realize. Insects don't just attack randomly, they target weak plants, stronger plants actually, become chemically unattractive to pests. So even if an insect gets through, it won't want to stay. Now, if you want to take this even further, there's a technique almost nobody talks about: the four-corner system. Here's how it works. Place 4 small clay pots in the corners of your garden. Bury them so the rim is level with the soil fill. Then with rainwater, add 1 copper penny and 1 galvanized nail inside each. This creates a slow release of ions into the soil, and over time, it forms a consistent nutrient field across your entire garden. Stronger plants, better resistance, even fewer pests. So why isn't everyone doing this? Because after World War II, everything changed. Chemical pesticides took over. Research shifted. Education shifted. Gardening advice changed completely. And simple, low-cost methods like this were quietly left behind. Not banned, not disproven, just forgotten. So if your garden has been struggling, it's not because you're doing something wrong, it's because the methods that actually worked were replaced, but now you have them again. And the best part? You can test this yourself this weekend. So tell me in the comments, what's the one pest that's been driving you crazy? And subscribe, because this is just the beginning. There's an entire system behind this, and we're only getting started.